Consideration of opening of our special council meeting, 25th September 2024, is made at 5:30 p.m. Thank you everyone for making the effort to come along tonight. Item number 2, we're on page 5 of 24 of the agenda. Item number 2 is opening procedures. 2.1 is acknowledgement of country. So the Shire of Northern would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land in which we meet. That's both the Ballawong and Wadjuk people of our Noongar Nation, and we pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Item number 2.2 is recording of council meetings. Members of councils and members of the gallery which are joining tonight at this stage are advised this meeting will be live streamed and audio recorded and made available on the Shire of Northern's YouTube channel. If members of the public would like access to the recording of this meeting, they can do so via the Shire of Northern's website. Item number 3 is attendance. 3.1 attendees. We have Councillor Bigland, Councillor Girat, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Mencheli, President Antonio, Councillor Atherton, Councillor Hughes in attendance. The staff, all the staff as listed are in attendance. Item 3.2 apologies. We have apologies from Councillor Williams and Councillor Polton. We now go to page 6. So item 3.3 is approved leaves of absence, that is nil. 3.4 absent, that is nil. Item number 4 is disclosure of interest. I haven't received any at this point in time, but all councillors are well aware that as an item comes up, they're able to declare their interest in whatever sort that is at the time of the item. Item number 5 is public questions. That is nil. Item number 6 is special items. 6.1 is attendance at 2024 Saga International Ballooning Fiesta. There is a background and there is a recommendation on page 10. But as we haven't had a forum, I'll invite any questions on this in the first place.
No, I thought it was suspend standing orders.
So Councillor Hughes moved that we suspend standing orders. Councillor Bigland has seconded that. That's procedural, so I'll put that straight to the vote. All those in favour by show of hands? 7-0, that's carried. So we suspend standing orders. So just a reminder, and CEO can correct me if I'm wrong, that allows people to speak twice and don't have to stand for this, but we're still going to have question and answers anyway because it's, we haven't had a forum. So I'll just invite questions at this point in time or queries. Oh, Councillor Bigland.
I'll go first. Sorry, I'm just getting my head around how I want to start the question. So I guess the ballooning is an event that the Northern Shire has held in the past. So in line with, my question will be around, in line with the council goals within the strategic plan and council plan, how does attending the ballooning fiesta in Japan contribute to attracting new businesses that meet youth and family leisure needs under the people component of our strategic plan? That's one question.
Yeah, can you answer that one first and just hold a second one? I'm trying to get the CEO to answer that if that's possible.
So under the strategic community plan, we've actually set an attractive destination for investors, business and visitors, helping grow our economy and local jobs. I don't think that's actually the right objective there, but it is under outcome 10, and that's about attracting investors, business and visitors. So in terms of the ballooning, it is probably a niche for WA tourism attraction, and so the hope would be that we would attract more visitors to Northern for the ballooning, and also potentially to attract some of the Japanese balloonists to come here for our events and that type of thing as well, bringing their teams and that type of thing, which would support local business.
I hope that answers your question, but I know you've got another one.
So could the Shire, rather than focusing on international events, could resources be better allocated to local initiatives that also aim to meet the same goals?
I mean, that's always a possibility. I guess the invitation has been extended by Northern Ballooning Events, and it has only just been received. And the event is actually at the end of October, so that's the reason for this coming to this council meeting at this point in time. We obviously at this point in time haven't done a cost benefit analysis, and there's not been one provided by Northern Ballooning Events.
Yeah, Councillor Gerac.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just wondering if there is any kind of indication of the cost of this event, how much it would be all together. I understand that flights, accommodation and all expenses would be paid by the Shire.
Yes, that's correct. So in the report we've said $4,000 to $5,000. I think the flights are in the vicinity of about $1,500. Accommodation is dependent on whether there's accommodation available in Saga, which at this point in time there's limited accommodation available. However, there is accommodation available about 10 to 15 kilometres away at a cost of about $250 a night. And then there, would be, potentially then train fares or taxi fares, that type of thing to get to Saga. And then there might also be meals as well. So in the report, we've estimated about $4,000 to $5,000 for all expenses.
Councillor Ryan.
Mr. President, so I'm familiar with when we posted international events with the ballooning. This event in Saga, is this going to be a competition or is this basically a talk fest? Well, when I say talk fest, is this like a strategic thing where people are talking about upcoming competitions, how they're going to do things better? Are we contributing to that type of forum, or is this like a competition?
Yes, it is a competition, and in fact the business that has the Northern Balloon, the pilot of that, has actually been invited or has been accepted as one of the 5 international competitors into the competition. They have to do the competition.
Further questions, queries? I saw Councillor Bigland, so Councillor Mangelli, then Councillor Appleton, then Councillor Bigland.
Yeah, all right. In the case of Northern, is it true that it's the most idyllic location for hot air ballooning, given that Steve Fossett and his crew chose it in 2002, and then we had the nationals and the international shows or ballooning events here in 2023? Apparently, this is one of the best locations in the world for ballooning. Fact or fiction?
Well, according to Northern Ballooning Events, it's one of the preeminent places. Now, there's a lot of reasons why with the climate, the distance from the coast, the longitude and latitude. I'll get the right one. That would be the latitude, one that goes across. And Northern Ballooning Events advise us that Saga is the opposite in the Northern Hemisphere. So it's in a sort of climate.
And the Roaring Forties, Ellis Island, future catch that, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's it. But that's what Northern Ballooning Events have advised us. Sorry, Councillor Appleton.
It says in the agenda item that the Northern Balloon's already being taken over there. Who is the team, and are they able to act as a proxy on our behalf?
So I believe that the organisation or the pilot that flies the Northern Balloon, his preference is to take the Northern Balloon. However, he is just working out things like freight and that type of thing. So his intention is to take the balloon, but that does depend on him being able to fund the freight and that type of thing. And I understand he would then, if he can take that balloon, he will then pilot the balloon. If he can't find a way of getting the balloon there, then he will borrow a local balloon, is my understanding.
Would he have to take the basket too, or just the balloon?
I'd have to take that on notice, I'm not sure.
Councillor Bigland.
So this is in relation to an economic justification. The focus on pursuing economic suggests that any initiative, including attending an international event, should demonstrate clear returns on investment. What are the concrete benefits expected from this attendance? Can data about potential business leads, partnerships or tourism growth be presented as an outcome?
That information is not available for this report at this point in time. I'm not sure if you're talking about post or prior to the event.
Yes. It would be prior as well as when we come back, if they were successful, when they come back, how are we going to demonstrate it to the wider community, which seems to be quite interested in this at the moment.
Yes, I might ask the Shire President to talk about that, but I would certainly anticipate that the Shire President will be providing a report on the contacts that he's made, the conversations that he's had with people about attracting them to come to Northam, which is obviously the intention, but the Shire President may want to add further to that.
Yeah, and it'd be in my calculations like with this. So one of the main ideas is it's ballooning is one of our major tourism attractions, and it's a winter season. The idea is to attract even more visitors than we've got now. So there's two parts to that. One is to attract visitors to support our local economy, and this is just calculations off the top of my head. So hopefully I get the calculations right. So say if you manage to attract 1,000 people over a couple of years, 1,000 extra people, by the time they came here in the local economy, they spend $500 mainly on accommodation, fuel and food and things like that. So that's 1,000 times 500 is $500,000. $500,000 added to the economy. So that's just one part of it. So you're trying to attract more visitors, but I can't say how many more we're going to attract. So that's the aim. And the other one is as we have the balloon glow, how do we call it? Balloon glow coming up, you try and attract international visitors by getting some of the balloons here as well. So you've got bigger exposure, which is then exponential, and you're trying to get more visitors. That's the way I'm looking at it. So any event that I would attend, that's how I look at it. So trying to support the local economy, and that's right across the Shire, because accommodation, like for example, if they came in caravans, they'd stop at any of the RV parks right across the Shire. If they come, they'll spend money at any location right across the Shire. So that's the aim of it. But to put a concrete figure, these are my calculations, Councillor Bigland, but that's what I'm looking at, those sorts of figures. So, and but everything you do, that's what you're trying to do. So if that were to come out, that would be the investment of whatever we spend for a potential return of 500,000, not directly to the Shire, but to all the local businesses. Hopefully that answers it. Councillor Ryan?
So with this Fiesta, the competition, that question was answered. So when I look at our experience with the International Women's competition that will be hosted, and I had the opportunity to talk to lots of teams that were there, and I didn't see a huge amount of high-profile type sort of officials at that event, and that was an international event. So I suppose the question that I'm wanting to have some clarification around is that we're sending our Shire's president, so a fairly substantial delegate or person with standing within our community. What other countries are going to be sending officials or people that our president is going to network with, is going to interact with, to make or to get the best bang for buck? So if we are going to go with the idea of sending our representative over with the learning community, what bang for buck our AMA is going to get, and then work the exposure that our president that we're sending, or our representatives that we're sending, is going to have. And then obviously that will then feed into what Councillor Bigler has been asking, is that will then, what's the return going to be?
So at this point in time, obviously it will be all the Japanese officials. There is, I believe, places for 5 international balloons as well as part of the competition. However, I only know of the pilot from here that's looking to go, but I'm not sure what other countries there are. We could certainly ask Northern Ballooning Events, who have got more information about the actual fiesta itself. I believe that representatives of them have attended on previous occasions, but I'm not sure which other countries those competitors will be coming from. But there's certainly 5 places, I believe, for international competitors.
Councillor Bigler.
If the council approves the attendance, will we establish clear measures of success and reporting mechanisms to ensure more transparency and accountability to the community regarding the use of the funds?
Certainly in terms of the accountability of funds, obviously the airfares and accommodation will be documented, and as I understand it, the expenses would be documented as well, and they would be reported back through our accounts for payment.
And as one of the attendees of conferences, the same as I did for the national conference, I would provide a report to council. So after that one, I provided a comprehensive report, probably over comprehensive, of every activity that was attended. So there was absolutely transparency in everything I do. And just for clarification, this is for me as much as anyone else, I made sure that I documented everything and invited every councillor to see if they had any queries about any activity or conference or sub-conference that I attended at that time, which I would do the same. So I'd do a full diary, which I'd expect to do for any conference, and I say that's just for any one of us to attend, do a full diary, full report of it, and invite councillors to query. I think in our policy, I'll do it internally, and then if council so wish, a full briefing can be held at a forum. I think that's the way our policy is worded.
Yes, that's correct. We can certainly request that there be a presentation done at a forum so that it's publicly available.
I have one minute.
Oh, sorry, yeah, certainly.
Have we approached the Northern Ballooning to either go halves, or why are they not contributing towards your, seeing though they have asked you to go and represent?
There are the Northern Ballooning Events hasn't offered to contribute. There are some, I guess, issues around provisions of gift as well, because it would be considered to be a gift. So from that perspective, I guess there's a little caution around accepting gifts of that nature in local government. So I guess the request from Northern Ballooning Events at this point in time is that the Shire make the contribution rather than it being considered a gift from Northern Ballooning Events.
Further questions, councillors?
Is it
Yeah. Councillor Mintelli, then Councillor Ryan.
is it true that the committee is a not-for-profit organisation and wouldn't have the funds to sponsor anyone going over there apart from their own people?
Yes, that's correct. They are a not-for-profit organisation.
Councillor Ryan?
Is there any reason why it was sort of left so late in terms of notifying us that that was their intention? Only because, yeah. that question has popped up.
Yes, I can't comment on why the invitation was as late as it was. I do know that we did press for information as quickly as possible, and this is as quickly as we were able to get the information.
Further questions, councillors? Councillor Geary?
Just in regards to the allocated budget for this event, is there a way to cap that budget so we not exceed the estimate what's been provided to council?
Yes, certainly as part of the recommendation, we could add something that, if you like, put a maximum, so up to an amount, a certain amount, that can certainly be done as an amendment to the recommendation.
I think it's $45 for 2 days and the trip, and then we feel, money to.
I think it'll only be for ancillary costs, and we can kind of estimate what they are based on where the accommodation is and that type of thing, because if there was internal travel that was required, we could have a look at how much that's likely to cost. But I think if you said to a maximum of $5,000, I would think just based on what we understand about the cost of the airfares and some research we've done around the accommodation, that should suffice.
Councillor Hughes?
I think it's a little bit dangerous putting a little, like a 5,000 and it might cost 5.5. And you're only talking, not talking big money, the whole thing's only small money. But $500 is a lot for an individual, but for a child, it's really, it's.
I'll probably leave that as a comment and leave that for debate. Further questions, councillors? Councillor England, thought I'd drag it out just to see if there was any more questions.
Given that Councillor Williams did pose questions in the public forum, and we all know what the public can be like with their responses. Where does it fit within, I guess, and I've already touched on it, the strategic plan and how we, being a transparent council, given their concerns in the current economic environment, are we all comfortable that we are proceeding down the right track for them?
I guess that'll come out in our decision. So probably the way to answer that, if council decides to say no, then that's probably answering the question. If council decides to answer yes, then that's answering the question as well. And I think if the CEO did the report, but the report did mention that was one of the risks, so highlighted risks. So it was identified. So it's probably confirming the question. So it depends on how we look at the outcome. So just make sure there's any questions, because as Councillor Bigland said, I want this to be fully transparent, any decision we make. So if there's no further questions, just making sure there's a recommendation there on page 10 of 24. If there's not a mover and a seconder, it lapses. That's the correct way. There's not a mover and a seconder, otherwise.
You want us to stand?
No. No,
I know.
sorry?
Yeah.
We have to resume that now? Okay.
I thought you did.
So, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Mangelli to resume standing orders. That's procedural, so I'll get straight to debates. All those in favour by show of hands. Or the procedural motion? 7-0. That's carried. So standing orders have been reinstated. That's the right Resumed? So then we have a recommendation, on page 10 of 24.
That'll be going.
Councillor Hughes is going to move, Councillor Minchella
I'll second it.
going to second. Is there anyone likely to speak against? Yep, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Hughes.
Well, I didn't have much to say before, but I can see it as a small cost. Yeah, a big gain. You've only got to get a $50,000 gain over a couple of years and you've made 10%. So I just don't see it as being a problem. It's happened before. We've sent people to New Zealand and that was to the town of Northern and there was no big outcry about it. They just went and came back and it's all quiet. So I'm all for it.
It's one of those sort of difficult decisions that, you know, we're required to make, and, you know, I'm happy to be a part of making the decision. The concern that I have, I suppose, with this motion is the timing. We're being forced to make a decision without having a real opportunity for due diligence to really map it out, to plan it, and to know which, we've got an idea where the bucket of money is coming from for it to get it over the line. That's fine. But to be able to really do the analysis of what our bang for the buck is going to be, we're being asked to jump on board very, very quickly, and hopefully it's going to pay off. And I'm all for investing. I mean, I'm in private practice and I've got my own business, and I appreciate you know, investing into a business, and that's primarily what we're doing on behalf of our ratepayers with this particular motion, with this idea, is that we're going to be sending a representative of the Shire of Northern, along with a very successful pilot in the ballooning, and ballooning is one of those things that, or activities within the Shire of Northern, that is a draw card. We've been championing ballooning and wanting to be the ballooning capital of Australia, and I understand that. It is the timing of it and the rush of it that I'm concerned about. I don't like cost overruns. If we're going to be committing these resources to building and investing in the business of ballooning, the promotion of ballooning, and benefiting our other businesses that are going to have the knock-on effects of having extra visitors come to Northern, raising it on the world stage, those sorts of things, well, then I think we need to be a little bit more prudent with timings and just doing a bit more research and development in regards to flying off the cuff and jumping on an invitation and spending money when we don't really know how much bang for buck we're going to get. So it's just on that basis. I'm not against the motion in terms of investing in this type of activity and promoting this type of activity, because it does benefit the whole of the Shire of Northern, with the businesses in our Shire that benefit from having visitors come in, particularly lots of them, as in the Women's International Ballooning Championships and the national championships that we've hosted over the years. And our businesses do have successes with increased profits and the like. So that, yes, there is that benefit, but I think in this time, I don't think that it's probably the right thing or the prudent thing to do at the moment. So I would not be in support of this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Councillor Minchella.
While I appreciate the lateness of the invite for the President to go onto the ballooning world stage to attend as an ambassador for the Northern Shire, there's a number of factors that we really need to take into account. You know, we're talking about probably a maximum of $5,000 worth of expenditure. In the overall scheme of things, yes, we're in tight economic times at the moment, but we do have a budget as outlined in the item to council. I've touched on the two major national and international events that we hosted in 2023, and they did attract quite a few people to Northern. And there's another one coming up next year. and they will continue to attract more people to this shire. Back in 2002, Steve Fawcett came to town. There was a lot of people in town. He set up his 10-storey high balloon, the Spirit of Freedom, and he covered 33,000 kilometres around the world in the space of 13 days. Got up to 37,000 feet and got up to about 270 kilometres an hour at some stages. So, you know, he was the first guy to ever balloon solo around the world. So, you know, that is a significant milestone. On Kyushu Island, where Saga is, you know, it'd be beneficial to create a sister city or town relationship. While the Northern Shire population is approximately 1/20th of Saga's 227,000 people, there are a myriad of reasons for this ambassadorship. They are: one, the possibility of international trade and investment in the wheat belt, the northern area. It may come, we don't know. You know, everyone's saying that, you know, we need to see value for money. We will at some stage, I would suggest. Japan is Australia's second biggest trading partner and one of the world's largest consumer markets. We need to keep that in mind. Exports include coal, we don't mind coal around here, natural gas, we haven't got any of that close by, but we've got plenty out in the ocean and up north, iron ore, just down the road, and all the concentrates. You know, we've got the Chalice mine starting up out at Tood Bay fairly shortly, and we export beef, Japan, even though they produce the best Kobe Wagyu beef in the world. And we also send a bit of aluminium over there from down south, the bauxite mines. Japan is the fourth largest foreign investor in Australia, with Australian dollar 265.2 billion in 2023. So you can imagine what that's like this current year. And those figures come straight out of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. There are more than 100 sister city and state relationships between Australia and Japan, providing opportunities for educational, cultural, sporting, ballooning in inverted brackets, tourism and economic exchanges. While the community boards in the Shire elicited commentary from a number of people regarding costs to the Shire in these harsh economic times, the much larger silent majority can see the numerous benefits of this venture for the future of the Northern Shire and its growth. I urge councillors to vote for the recommendation as presented, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Minchilli. Any further speakers against? Councillor Appleton?
I believe Councillor Ryan was correct when he spoke about it being such a short notice thing. These are annual events. We should have plenty of time to work towards these. I don't necessarily think that diving into this head first, when we can't even confirm that the balloon is going to be there at this point, makes sense. Spending money on a whim is not the way we should be running the Shire. It should have set rules on how we are going to delegate our money and how it's going to benefit our community. I'm not opposed to seeing this put forward next year or even put into the budget so we can work towards these options, but doing it at such short notice when we don't have more details, I honestly don't agree with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Appleton. Further speakers for? Further speakers against? Councillor Gierak?
That's such, as much as I like also the idea of a Shire president representing Northern on an international event, and I do see the financial benefit of attending such events in the future, especially from the marketing perspective, when we can spend $5,000 easily just on shiny flyers around the Shire or WA. It's definitely have got a merit to send our Shire presidents to such events in the future, but I also very strongly feel that the timing is not right, and especially because there is no appropriate costing and cost-benefit analysis is put to council to make an informed decision at this point of time. So I feel also that perhaps we should consider this in the future and allocate budget and allocate sufficient time for staff to come up with the appropriate figures and justifications of why we making such decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bureau. Further speakers for? Further speakers against? Councillor Bigland?
President, I concur with Councillor Atherton, Councillor Ryan and Councillor Derek. I'm not adverse to it in the future. However, when you go onto the Shire website, under the council plan 22 to 32, areas that the council will be focusing on in 24-25 include people, and I could go through each point, but I'll refer people back to it. It says people, planet, places, prosperity and performance. I do not believe that this current request fits within the current requirement that the Shire has agreed to be focusing on in 24-25. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Bigland. That's exhausted everyone, so Councillor Hughes, you can provide reply.
Well, I don't know how you'd ever calculate value for money. You have a go, if it's 6 months away, how would you calculate what you're going to get out of it? You'll never be able to do that. It's all hope. All these things are hope you're going to get something back. And if we want them to come and support us in the future, we've got to be seen as be supporting them. And if this one is a big event, we should be there. We're looking at $4,000 to $5,000. We'll spend $15,000 to $20,000. I shouldn't say this, but trying to kick some of it out of it. But it's $5,000 is nothing. But the $20 million budget of 11 or 12 million, I shouldn't say the rates, but rates. What's 5,000? It's nothing. We're playing marbles. I just support it. I think send the president over there, let him rub shoulders with them, hope we can get them back here for the next big event.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. So with that, everyone's had a chance to speak. So we're going to put Councillor Hughes' motion. All those in favour by a show of hands. That's 3. All those against? 4. That is lost. So we now go to page 12. Item 6.2 is Walga Annual General Meeting. There's a recommendation starting on page 13 and goes to page 14. Because it's a new item, we haven't had a forum. Any queries or questions on this, councillors? We have to answer the query that came in by email. No. So no queries or questions on this, councillors. So then there's a motion, a recommendation on page 13 of 24, 13-14. If someone would like to move that. Shelley's moving. Councillor Ryan is seconding. So Councillor Ryan first. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 7-0. That's carried. We then go to page 17, which is item 6.3, pop-up shop in Northern CBD. There's a lot of background and there's a recommendation on page 20 and 21. Again, as this is a new item, I'll just invite questions on this one. Councillor Bigland.
do we know of the 52 weeks? Sorry. Do we know of the 52 weeks of the previous pop-up shop? How many weeks in those 52 were occupied by pop-up shops?
I don't know the number of weeks, but I can probably tell you how many licenses were entered into for the previous series of Disney and Moon.
I'll just invite another question while we're answering that one. So there's other questions or queries? Councillor Geary?
Do we know how many of those pop-up shops actually established a business in Northern after they?
Nils that I'm aware of.
There was, while you're answering that one, there was one that established a business in Northern that went for 12 months or whatever, then for personal reasons, I believe it was illness, they moved on, so they did establish a business. That's probably only one councillor here. Shouldn't say probably only one, probably one. I'll just see if there's any other questions while Alicia's still looking for that. Question, Councillor Angeli?
Yeah, look, I'd like to know if there's room for a business incubator in town. I realise this particular property in the boulevard is available, and the costs are significantly higher than the previous building, but surely, you know, we should. Sorry, I'm leading into the discussion now. But is there room for a business incubator? Is the question, I guess.
So I guess in terms of support services, I am aware that there is a small business support service that's funded. I think it's actually through the Small Business Development Corporation, and they're currently operating, I believe, out of Ridgeley. We've also got the Northern Chamber of Commerce as well, which does provide support to businesses as well. So while there may be room, I guess there are existing services that are available for business support.
Hopefully that answers the question, Councillor Angeli. We'll just check. Sorry, Alicia's still looking, or it does have an answer. So we can find another question if we're still waiting for an answer.
So 2023. In 2023, we had 2 tenants in the pop-up shop, 1 in 2024, and also had 4 in 2022.
Hopefully that answers your question, Councillor Goodwin. So out of I'll clarify that out of the 52 weeks of the year, I think that was Councillor Bigman. So roughly how long were they?
I probably need to do a bit more research in relation to the number of weeks, because on occasions the licences were extended. If there was no one on the wait list, we would often grant a further 3 months for them to continue. So it was 6 months.
Councillor Goodwin?
The licence was for 3 months, 6 months?
So the licences are for 3 months. However, if there's no one else on the wait list, we have extended them on occasions. Yeah. I would need to do more research in relation to which licences would be.
Yeah, Councillor Bigman, when they were there, quite often they continued. I don't know how many 52 weeks, but if there was one they wanted to continue on, there's no one else waiting, they continue on, so it wasn't vacant. That sort of answers your question. Councillor Ryan.
So just in regards to the fit out costs, the shop in itself, I'm not sure what the current status is in terms of, is it leasable to somebody who wants to do a pop-up, or do we require further fitting out for that, and if so, what's that cost going to be?
Just going to refer that one straight to Alicia.
We do not believe that there is any additional costs required in relation to fit out, and then in terms of displaying, you know, say for example, sold goods, they would be responsible for, you know, their own equipment to display those items.
Councillor Bigman, I think, had another question. Councillor Geary.
Have we had any inquiries lately, for people to actually, take this or pop-up shop?
I'm not sure who's answering this one, we've got a few nods here.
Yes, we have had a few inquiries, which is one of the reasons, oh, sorry. We've had a few inquiries, which is one of the reasons why it was brought to the surface again and being put on the agenda tonight. I may.
Councillor Bigler. Councillor Bureau.
Just a further question regarding to that, were these inquiries or people who made the inquiry informed that the fee might be higher than it was previously to enter the pop-up shop? Because it's significant, it will be significantly higher, so I'm just wondering if these people would be still interested.
Yeah, I'm not aware of them being informed of the cost. However, officers have assessed and believe that it's still quite reasonable rental to establish, establish their business for a short period of time.
Councillor Bigler.
So if you base it on the $100 a week that you're asking for now, I haven't worked it out on $25 a week. You're asking unbudgeted for 8,000 plus the GST to get the GST. If we had it leased last year for the 4 months roughly, that was $4,800 approximately, and $100 a week on the charge, not at the 25. We're actually not going to get our $8,000. We're going to come under, we're not going to break even, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
No, we won't be broken even, but one of the main reasons for suggesting the increase in the rental was to assist in covering those costs and closing the gap, because for the previous shop, it was much less in terms of cost recovery.
Councillor Bigler.
I may have not read it. The power and the water, is that the Shire's expense? And that's not covered in the $100, is it?
So the licence fee that they'll pay is $100 a week included, so that's just the fee that they will pay. Electricity is, we believe, yeah, is in addition to, and then water consumption, we don't believe is applicable because there's shared toilet facilities. I don't understand that there's water connected to that premise itself, so that would be not applicable.
Councillor Appleton.
So obviously this brought forward for a special meeting because there's a tenant looking to move in, I assume. Based off that, them wanting to get in so early and have a 3-month lease over the Christmas period does cause some concerns for me. If we're going to give a business 3 months over the Christmas period with subsidised costings, are they intending to carry forward with their business after that time period?
So I guess in terms of the recommendation, we would be considering the applications from the tenants based on and the indication to establish permanently in the Shire. So the intention of this really is to support new businesses and that startup business. So that's the intent of that. So it's not going to be a cost-making venture for the Shire. The intention is to support that economic development, but certainly one of the things that we'll take into account when considering any applications we might receive is that they are intending to establish permanently.
Councillor Hughes.
It's very hard for someone to start up, and I would have thought very hard for someone to start up a new business, which is not already here, because most businesses that are going to work are here already. So I'm not sure if it's money well spent on something that, well, you can't be part of, you can't have a business that's competing with anything that's here already. So you look down the street, you think of something, what would you put in that would sell to people? It's very, very hard unless you're going to compete with them a little bit. And if you're going to keep competing with them a little bit, they can't have a swap.
So I'll take that as a question. So part of that, like the community's quite often asking like for baby clothes or a specialist shoe shop. There's other shops that sell shoes, but some of them, like you've either got the ones that sell boots, you've got the ones that sell agricultural boots, you've got the ones that sell sporting shoes. Quite often they're asking for ones like that, just as an example. So when you see the community informal surveys on social media, there's quite a few shops, so I'm pretty sure there'd be enough around.
You think of Hungry Jack's or something, eh?
Not going to comment on that one, but there is other things the community asks for that's not specialised here already to answer part of your question anyway.
Yeah.
So, and if I was a business and I'd see a gap like we did have one at one stage, which was wouldn't fit in this location, but a bike repair shop or like a mountain bike shop, anything like that wouldn't fit in this location, but that's just an example. So, further questions? Yeah, Councillor Bidlin.
Can I just have clarity, do we or do we not have a potential candidate for the pop-up shop? Because I got the impression from the CEO that we're going to assess when it came in.
From what I've gathered, there's just been a number of inquiries. There's nothing that is definite at this stage. It's really, we've brought this to see whether it is something that council want to do, and if it is, then we would communicate and move forward with the hopefully progressing this.
Bit like chicken or the egg. Yeah. Further questions, councillors? If not, we've got a recommendation on sorry, Councillor Hero.
My apologies, that was a bit. So do I understand it right that we need to take this lease on for a year?
It is a periodic lease, so it is month to month, but the costs, I believe, in the agenda are based on 12 months.
So that means that if we decide, if after, let's say, the Christmas period for 3 months, there are no interest of anybody taking on the pop-up shop, we can exit the lease.
I think the intent is going to be to review it at the end of the financial year and determine whether there was sufficient interest, and if so, we would look at budget allocation for next year's budget.
Not quite answering your question, but it is a month by month lease.
So we're proposing to take on the premise for the next, until June next year. Yeah, and then assess at the end of the financial year whether we, think it's viable or, should be proceeded with based on interest from the community. So it'll be something that's before the council during budget process.
Can we break the lease, like if it was up till June, can we break the lease before if we have no interest? Well, that'd be a reason for us to want to break it.
Council can certainly include that condition in this recommendation, and that's something that we'll discuss with the lessor.
So, Councillor Garrett, that was probably similar lines to your question.
Yes, just for that question, wouldn't it be more appropriate that instead of us taking the lease, providing assistance for new businesses based on some kind of assessment to subsidize for 3 months their lease by $50, and instead of us taking on the lease and then sublease it? And then if they wish to stay on, they just pay the lease and continue their business, and we can have a different venue.
Certainly be possible, however, they're not discussions we've had with Perdaman, so that's something that we would have to discuss with them as to whether they would be interested in that sort of arrangement.
It could be that I think because we're the Shire and we've told them the intent of what we're looking to do, if an individual was to go and approach them, I would suspect that they potentially would want a longer lease term, which the business may not be able to or want to enter into. The pop-up shop really is to give them that ability to test the market and see how viable it is for them.
Further questions or queries, councillors? If not, we have a recommendation on page 2021. Councillor Ryan is moving, Councillor Minicelli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour of Councillor Ryan's motion by a show of hands. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are those against? 2. Needs absolute majority of 6, so that's lost. So we'll go to page 24. If you go, you've just got a matters behind.
I'll move the recommendation as presented.
There's a recommendation. It would move behind closed doors.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to approve urgent business, that we will deal with it as urgent business first and then go to one.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
apologies.
that's okay.
So we've just got on the screen, we've got council considers new business of an urgent urgent nature, referencing agenda 9.1, public display of art and images for the reasons listed in the report. So Councillor Minicelli is moving to move this, and Councillor Appleton is seconding. So everyone's clear, that's what's up my screen. So urgent business and moving behind closed doors. So that's all there. So that's procedure. So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 7-0. That's carried. Make sure I've got the right number.
That's not the motion, is that
Oh.
a separate motion to go behind closed doors? You're just doing the first section of that.
The first section.
Yeah, the first recommendation.
On the first recommendation.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Minicelli, can I ask you to move that again, please? Councillor Minicelli, can you move that? So we do urgent business. Councillor Appleton seconded that. So that's procedural, so I'll put that straight to the vote. All those in favour by a show of hands. That's 7-0, that's carried. Then we have the motion to move behind closed doors. Councillor Minicelli is moving that. Councillor Appleton is seconding. That is procedural, so I'll put that straight. It's carried. Camera's back on. So just, I've got to read the recommendation for the item behind closed doors. Recommendation 1, that council notes the information provided in this report. 2, requests the Chief Executive Officer to consult with the Noongar Cultural Advisory Group in relation to the matters referenced in this report. And 3, requests the Chief Executive Officer to monitor the matter and provide a further report to council for a determination on the future display of art and images as referenced in this report. So that's been done. We now go to page 24 of 24 of the special council meeting agenda. We have, we've done, I haven't done that one yet. Item number 8 is the motion to which previous notice has been given, that is nil. We've done item 9 and item 7. So we've got item number 10 as declaration of closure is made at 6:30 p.m. I'd like to thank all councillors for insightful debate and thoughts, and thank all the staff for the professionalism as always.